666.
Later this week, Dawaa Medical Services, one of the largest pharmaceutical retail companies in Saudi Arabia, will list 25.5 million shares on the Saudi stock market, the Tadawul, seeking to raise about 500 million. Nahdi Medical Company, which is the kingdom's largest pharmacy retail chain, plans to seek about 1.3 billion in an IPO in the next few months, in what could be the largest share sale in the kingdom since Saudi Aramco went public in 2019. Share sales in Saudi Arabia have seen huge investor demand in the past year, with most IPOs getting priced at the top of the offering ranges and then the shares surging on their trading debut. The Saudi benchmark index has jumped about 9% this year, extending its 2021 gains of 30%. And if you're in the U.S. market now, you're looking at that with great envy. While the Kingdom's Wealth Fund, PIF, has been behind many of the biggest recent listings, an increasing number of Saudi family businesses are also capitalizing on soaring demand for stocks and testing the equity markets. The stock exchange's chief executive officer, Khalid Al-Hassan, recently commented that the pipeline for IPOs in the country is, quote, deeper than ever, unquote. Amr, you've worked closely with a number of large, successful family-owned companies. Why are increasing numbers of Saudi family businesses listing on the Tadawul?
Well, I think it's a point of sustainability. As we all know, normally in family business, they tell you there is the founder who founds the business, his children grow the business, and his grandchildren spend the business. If I remember my statistics correctly, less than 5% survive beyond the fifth generation. Today in the GCC alone, you have over the next 10 years what amounts to around $2 trillion in wealth that is going to exchange hands from one generation to another. 85% of business in Saudi Arabia is controlled and owned by family business. In order to make sure that family squabbles and what have you not really get in the way of the company or the business surviving, is to take it public. Taking a business public is no easy matter, because you're required to put certain corporate governance in place. There are lots of rules and regulations that control the business, and so no one individual or family member can wreak havoc in that business. So it is one way also for some of my family members who want to cash out or exit that business, they can. And also, my last point is that it also kind of spreads the wealth and not have it only controlled in a small, in the hands of a small number of people.
That's always what I've understood, that 5% is the number I've seen in terms of lasting beyond that fifth generation. And I mean, this discussion in terms of IPO and some sort of exit strategy and some way to preserve the family enterprise has been going on for a long time. It seems right now that the access and the ease to get an IPO is better than it ever has been. Is that accurate? Of course, the market is up, and it's enticing in that way.
I think that the stock market, Tadawul, and the CMA, the Capital Markets Authority, as well as the Central Bank, or TCB, or as it used to be known as SAMA, have come a long way in developing the rules and regulations, and they're using technology today that made it a lot easier. And I can tell you that the Saudi stock market is one of the most efficiently run stock markets in the world. And I know some people think, okay, Amr is Saudi Arabia and he's saying it for this, but no, honestly, I know a lot of stock markets around the world, and I've seen where we have actually put in technology to good service in really making it a very efficient market. The other point I think is that there is a lot of money looking for investment opportunities, and nothing is safer than to invest in an institutional form of investments, and the stock market provides that. And families, which is another point that just came to mind, is that many family businesses, they don't want to sell their business, but maybe they want to sell part of it, and they don't want to sell it to an individual who's going to make their life miserable. They sell it in the market, they cash some money out of it, and they can put that to good use in other business. As you know, the Crown Prince has said that Saudi Arabia is no longer going to be an oil-producing country, but an energy-producing country. Now, there's a big difference between the two meanings, which is basically he wants to develop businesses that move away from dependence on oil, but also we're looking at alternative energy, more fuel efficiency, cleaner environment, and what have you. So there are lots of business opportunities, even for small and medium-sized companies, large companies, and mega companies to invest. And some of the families may want to release some funds that they can use to seed it in those investments.
That's an interesting point. It's speaking to the efficiency of the stock market, things like the introduction of the NOMU, the secondary market, that is helping out these smaller businesses, some startups. I mean, Jahez is a unicorn now. It's $1 billion, value $1 billion, and that's on the NOMU, which is not the main market. So yeah, it's been interesting to watch. We've had segments on the 966 that have sort of traced the journey of the stock market in Saudi Arabia from the crash in 2006 through the establishment of the Tadawul and getting listed in MSCI, emerging markets, and then now going private. It actually issuing Tadawul actually issuing having its own IPO. It's been a remarkable journey. Lucian, what do you think?
I was going to just add to that. I mean, think about the economic headwinds behind all of this IPO activity. I mean, Richard, we were talking pretty late last night. Jadwa's recent prediction for GDP of Saudi Arabia in 2022 is 7.7% growth. On the Jadwa report, the only thing that I can see here that's higher is India at 9%. But that is red hot growth. So you have all of these headwinds behind it, which I think is very favorable for companies that are on the fence at this point. 2022 is going to be a big year. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, that Jadwa report was impressive, especially when they're projecting their budget for next year, which is going to be over $1 trillion. We're projecting a surplus of about $30 billion, which would be quite remarkable.
Well, and it buys time, right, for the economic diversification when oil is going up to, I think it's around $90 a barrel. That's that helps a lot. They don't want it to help a lot, but it does in the meantime.